It's Rob!
Tony! And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Inn. It's Warshack here, of course, and today we're going to be knocking out some Demon Handlock, a really powerful deck to play. It'll definitely take you far, but the skill cap on it is a bit high, so it's going to take some time to kind of get used to the play style of the deck because it does play different than a lot of different decks. So off the bat, let's just say for those of you who are new to this video, we're going to be playing 3 ranked games. We'll be winning all 3. We'll talk about the deck, talk about why I do what I do, and from there, we will kind of at the end of the video talk about each card individually and how it fits in the deck. So, to start off, the hand is looking pretty bad right now. Again, playing against a priest, we're looking for normally in our opening hand Twilight Drakes, Void Callers, and Mountain Giants. Those are our turn 4 plays, and that's normally when the first creature comes down is that turn 4. But we also did not draw any of those, which is bad, but there's also a couple more turns to get them. We have our passive, and we'll pretty much use this every turn until turn 4. So turn 2, we didn't draw it, so passive, of course, drawing into the Sun Fury Protector. Really not what we're looking for, but we do have turn 3 to try to get what we want, our passive again, and then on turn 4. So we have 3 more card draws to get our turn 4 creature on the board. If not, this is not looking good. We are able to draw the Twilight Drake. Very nice. And if you notice, I'm wearing the same t-shirt as the mid-range shaman. That is because the video that came out before this, for those of you who don't know, and that is because I've had a couple hours to kind of play Hearthstone, which is out of the ordinary for a normal day. Normally I only have like half an hour to an hour, and that's deck guides and deck building. So we've actually had some time to go down the ladder and kind of play a little bit. So that's why you see me at rank 5, and why I'm a little bit higher ranking in some of the other deck guides you've seen this month. So sorry about that, guys, but college has got me like no time for Hearthstone. So it looks like he's playing Dragon Priest, which is not a surprise. We haven't really seen any other kind of priest lately. Maybe a little bit of control, but for the most part, it's always been Dragon Priest. And it looks like he's going face, which is not that surprising because we are almost half health and we only have 1 card on the board. The Sledge Belcher I don't think is a bad play here. We could have Watchered and gave both our Twilight Drake and Watcher Taunt, but then we would be it wouldn't be terrible, I suppose. But I think throwing the Sledge Belcher down and using all of our mana is the most efficient play as of now. Also, if he has the Holy Nova, that'd be kind of bad, because then you would just attack into each creature, Holy Nova, heal him back up, and clear the field. But now we're able to save one of our taunt cards, because we only have 1 in our hand, and that's the Sun Fury. We don't even have an Argus, so we kind of want to save our taunts for when we can maybe pull out an 8/8. Whether it be the Mountain or Molten Giant.
Wield the power.
So he's going to Corruptor that. He's going to probably swing into it with his 2/3. Oh, he's going to save his 2/3. Alright. Well, this is leaving him semi-prone to the Shadow Flame and the Watcher, which I see is turn 6 combo. Clear 4 cards for my 1 Watcher. I see that pretty valuable. We also have another Shadow Flame in our hand to back ourselves up if we need to use one again. So, my first point I'll kind of bring up is a lot of the Demon Warlocks, or the Demon Handlocks, they'll run that 3-drop 4/4 when it attacks. It's like Ogre Brood, I think it is. When it attacks, it has a 50% chance to attack the wrong target. And they run that first off because it can attack and it doesn't need to be Iron Beaked like the Watchers do. But because it costs 3 mana, what we did last turn with the Shadow Flame and the Watcher, we wouldn't have been able to do until turn 7, which is quite devastating. So, that's why I run the Watchers. And I believe I made a small mistake here because he's running Priest. There's no really point to throw a taunt in between these Drakes, and we're probably just going to passive. And because of this, we should have passived first and then played the Drake. But I, for some reason, thought I was definitely going to use our taunt. But it just doesn't make sense because let's say we taunt them both up and he uses like a light bomb would be kind of stupid too. He wants to save those for the Giants. But giving them taunt right now really isn't a big deal whatsoever, just because he's not running a Hunter. He has no weapons. He doesn't. I'm not really worried about any face damage. So giving him taunt is not a priority. Drawing is. Also, being able to play this Molten Giant semi-soon is really nice because we haven't been able to play anything huge. So it looks like he's going to Vol'jin. He's going to get 8 health. His Vol'jin's going to be at 10 health now, which is a little scary. But I'm glad he used it on a Twilight Drake and not an 8/8, because if he used it on an 8/8, it kind of renders the 8/8 useless. I'd rather a 4/2 be on the board than an 8/2. So, but he probably had no other play to do. We're going to throw the taunt up on the right-hand side because we don't want him swinging into our 4-2s for the easy kill. So he's going to have to swing into the 8 to kind of get past it. Unfortunately, if he has a light bomb, that would fuck us. A Holy Nova would also fuck us because he would just attack a 6-10 into our giant, then Holy Nova. The giant would die, the 2 Drakes would die, and he would heal up his 6-10 to then a 6-4. So yeah, a light bomb would fuck us, and so would a Holy Nova, but there was really no other way to kind of play this out without kind of baiting out at least one of the two. So it'll be interesting what he plays here. Looking at turn 9, we really don't have anything great depending on what he plays. I mean, the Sledge Belcher Void Caller is always a good combo, but we don't have any. Like, we do have the Dread Infernal in our hand, so that's not too bad. Also having the 2 heal bots allows us to kind of play around dying for a while. So it looks like he did have the Light Bomb, which is semi-annoying. He's gonna play the 2-4 with Taunt, and he's gonna swing for face. All right, so he has 7 health. I see Dread Infernal coming out. We're going to Dark Bomb this. Yeah, Dark Bombing the Vol'jin, attacking our 2-1 into the 2-4. Then we will play Dread Infernal, dealing 1 damage to everything, killing off the Vol'jin, and then we will Mortal Coil the 2-1 to draw an extra card. Clear field, summon a 6-6, draw a card. Nice. That's value. So, it looks like we have pretty much, we have a nice board control lead here. We're losing in health, but remember guys, we're playing against a priest. He has no burst. So
my work is paramount.
The worst he could do is Holy Nova Corruptor, and that would take 10 mana, and he doesn't even have that, and that would only deal 5 damage, and we have 6. So it looks like he's going to waste a Shadow Word Death on our 6-6. Fine with me. We still got Giants left in the deck that I would rather him use on my 6-6s than my 8-8s. It kind of sucks that he was able to kill it there, because now we have no creatures on the board. But again, we will be able to throw up our probably Belcher and a heal bot. I don't see anything else that really makes sense right now. Then from here, we're going to be able to passive, and if we can bring out like a Lord Jaraxxus, that'd be fantastic too, or maybe even draw into the Mal'Ganis for our Void Caller to actually summon something decent. Be nice. Also, take note on the deck list to the right, guys. I'm only running 1 Sun Fury. I'm running 2 Coils and 1 Iron Beak. You can change these numbers around as you please. This deck guide on the right is just a foundation for you guys to build the decks how you want them. This isn't the be-all, end-all deck list of the Demon Handlock. I am not... I mean, if I consider myself a decent player, but I'm no pro player. I'm not Trump. I'm not, you know, Crip. I'm just a simple college boy trying to show my ways of Hearthstone to those of you who are either new, even those median, even veteran players who just don't have the time to sit here and kind of build decks on their own. Just this is a foundation for you guys to kind of change it as you please. So running 2 Iron Beaks and getting rid of Moil Coil, that's fine. If you want to get rid of a Shadow Flame and put in another Hellfire, that's fine too. So just keep in mind, that's a foundation for you. That's like when you're building a house, when you lay the mortar to build the house on, this is the mortar. The house is all yours, guys. You own your house. Sorry, random tangent. Okay, so while we were doing our tangent, we summoned an 8-8, which was kind of the only play we had, and now he's building a field up of scary things, including a card that allows him to draw extra cards, a very not-so-small dragon, and another dragon friend. So I believe from here, because we have the extra Shadow Flame, and I don't really feel like dealing with these creatures in any other fashion, we're going to swing for 8 and clear his 4 creatures again with 1 of our cards. It's actually 2 of our cards, but 2 for 1s are nice. Anti-Killbot to kind of get us out of that 4 HP zone if you would have Holy Nova Corrupted, which I doubt he would have had, but just in case, kind of playing around that. From here, next turn, I see us definitely playing the Void Caller and most likely the Defender. I see our anti-Killbot attacking into this 3-4 after it's been buffed by the Defender. There's no point to really Iron Beak Owl here. The Molten Giant's very, very nice because it's actually free to play right now. So playing the Void Caller, hoping it doesn't die. We won't be taunting. We'll taunt probably the 8-8 and the 3-3, keeping the Void Caller alive until we kind of get something to replace it with. We'll kill his 3-4, of course. Unfortunately, from here, if he has another Light Bomb, we're fucked. But besides that, and we said like 3 times, I didn't call it out because I was like, so what did he draw? Top decking the Shadow Ward Deck, of course. Alright. We were pushing lethal, but he top decks the Azure Drake to top deck into a Shadow Woman. That sucks for us. So from here, we're probably just going to use our 4-1. Well, actually, let's passive and see what we get. I don't really see a problem with using our passive. Okay, so we got a giant. Not bad, not bad, not great. Killing off his 4-4 with our 4-1, swinging for 2, swinging for 3, pushing back into lethal again. Hopefully he doesn't have a light bomb that would kill our giant, and then making us so we don't have lethal the next turn as well, so that'd be pretty annoying. But hopefully we can kind of finish this up.
Let me change.
So he's going to take our 2-3. That's not a big deal at all. He's going to heal himself up for 2, and I believe this is going to be game here. Yep. So it really didn't matter if we defended these guys or not. Let's just do it anyway. We'll swing for 9, swing for 4, and then use our Hellfire for the extra 3 damage, but we only really did 1. Nice, nice, nice. So there's our first win with the Demon Handlock. Yeah. So moving on to game number 2. It'd be cool if we could play. So we played a Dragon Priest. Maybe we can play like a Secret Paladin and maybe like a Rush deck of some sort, so we kind of get a variety in there. Sometimes when we do our deck guides, we only, like I said, we only play against kind of 2 of the same decks and then like 1 extra deck, so it's like 2 hunters in a row and then a mage deck who we just like stomp or something. Okay, so we're playing against a warrior, very common deck to see now, and his name is Helpless. Alright, you're cool. So we're probably just going to keep the 2 Twilight Drakes, get rid of the Defender and the Molten. I don't really see a reason to hold on to the Defender right now or the Molten. The two Twilights are great 4-drops. We also have coins, so we could coin into 1 on a 3-drop. If he ends up playing the Alkalite, we'll probably Ironbeak Owl. We're not really sure if he's playing Control or Patron, and we won't really know until turn to about 4 or 5. So allowing us to silence the Alkalite if he plays it, very viable play, just because we do not want him drawing any extra cards. We've seen what Patron does. They draw fucking huge cards. They Taskmaster their Alkalite, they draw 1, they in a rage draw 2, you end up killing it, draw another one. They got 3 card draws out of 1 Alkalite, and that's just bad. So definitely be Iron Beaking, and if he plays the Alkalite, if not, we'll be coining into the Drake. So he played the Armor Smith. Still not sure if he's running Patron or Control yet. Like I said, it's going to take till turn 4 till we figure that kind of stuff out. We'll use our passive once. If we use it twice, it will actually draw way too much. So next turn is the deciding factor of what we're going to do. We're either going to coin into our Twilight Drake, or we're going to silence whatever he brings out. Okay, awesome. So he actually brought out the Alkalite, which, like I said, we were going to silence that if you were to bring it out. We had to play a card this turn no matter what, just because... Dark Bomb? No. Silence. So, because we have the coin, again, you can't passive twice if you have coin and you're running the Demon Handlock. It's just one of those things that you kind of have to play a card, and then hopefully playing that card is worth it. So whether it be coining into the Twilight, if you were to coin into a Void Caller, you play a Watcher, you just make sure you don't passive when you have 9 cards in your hand. So you have 10, and the next turn you draw 11, and it discards it, and that'd be like a Giant or something. That's huge. So he's going to use his passive, of course, swing probably directly with his 2, or his 1-1, and then hit his Alkalite into the bird. Yeah. So from here, we'll be playing our Twilight Drake and ending our turn. Next turn... So right now, if he plays a Sledge Belcher, he's a Control. If he plays a Gnomish Inventor, he's Grim Patron. If he throws down the Death Spite, we're still not sure. But if he probably Death Spite, he's probably gonna run Patron, even though that's not a for sure way. For sure, So he ran in the Sledge Belcher. He's running Control Warrior. We can kind of mark that off on his list. We don't have to worry about any huge damage coming out of him, but we still have to worry about all of his huge creatures. So we're going to play the Twilight Drake. Because we can't get through his Sledge Belcher right now, I don't really find a reason to attack it. Next turn, if our Twilight Drakes don't die, we can Defender of Argus them. Then they'll have 5 attack. We'll kill off the Sledge Belcher. We'll Dark Bomb the 1-2, and then we'll kill off an Armor Smith just because we don't want his armor getting out of control. His Emperor Thorzen is also something we're going to need to kill ASAP. He only has 4 cards in his hand, so it's not really that huge of a deal. But we got to kill Emperor. It's just one of those cards that needs to die, but unfortunately we don't have any true way to kill it right now. If we had even a Shadow Flame right now, wouldn't do it because our guys only have 4 attacks. So we're going to kill the Sledge Belcher like I said. Dark Bomb. If we attack it, then no. We need a Dark Bomb. And then we will kill off one of his 1-4s and end our turn. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to execute at least one of our Drakes. Then I'm not sure what's going to happen to the other one. So he shield slammed it. That was close. He didn't execute it. He has 10 armor, which is kind of bad for us. A shield slam for 10 is devastating. He Death Bite for 3, so that's one of the other cards in hand. He Taskmastered for 1, so that's another one. So the other 2 cards in his hand are, one of them's reduced and one of them's not. They're both going to be reduced anyway, because the Emperor, again, is going to sit on the field another turn. This is painful. Painful indeed. Okay, so the Giant's not a bad draw, but I think we're probably just going to play the Void Caller, throw it up taunt, and then if he kills it, we get Draxus. Hopefully he doesn't have it execute. We'll play a Giant and then taunt them both next turn. So I think the Void Caller is the only really great play here, because if we just summon a Giant, he's just going to either attack directly, the Whirlwind's going to tick it, and he's going to execute it. We're not going to get anything out of it. But if he ends up attacking these creatures and killing them, at least we'll have a Draxus out. And if he doesn't have the execute, he'll stick, summon one of our Giants, and then we will taunt them up. So it looks like if he attacks into it, okay, so it's either Draxus or another Void Caller coming out. So it looks like it's another Void Caller, which is really nice, which means we can actually coin into Draxus next turn. I do not think he expects this to be coming. We're at 9 health, so coining into Draxus really isn't that bad of an idea. He only has 2 cards in hand, so I doubt he can deal with the amount of 6/6s that are going to come out of him. And we get to summon a free 8/8. So yeah, so summoning, we definitely want to play the Giant before we Draxus, because we Draxus and then play the, we can't Draxus and then play the Giant, because we wouldn't have taken any damage at that point, because Draxus puts us at 15 life. So Draxus, give me 6 more life, give me that weapon. Hopefully that warrior does not have Harrison Jones in his hand. We will use our 2/2 to attack this Emperor, finally killing it. We will use our 3/4 to attack that. We'll swing directly with our 3 weapon and end our turn. I guess we could have killed his 5/5 if we used our Void Caller to attack it, but then nothing would have come out of our Void Caller and we'd still be taking 5 damage. But next turn we can actually kill his 5/5 with our Dark Bomb or Void Caller, or we can just swing into it with our 8/8. So we actually have a Dread Infernal now, so we'll of course passive, get the 6/6 out. We'll use our Defender of Argus. Between the 6/6 and the 8/8 makes sense, because we're just going to kill the Void Caller anyway.
My shield for
No, actually, yeah, let's just keep it. I think having creatures on the board right now is more important than summoning a 6/6, because we're obviously just going to keep summoning 6/6s anyway. So if he wants to, you know, if he has a field clear, we summon our 6/6, and if, like, let's say we would have brought out the Dread Infernal and he, like, brawls or something, then we kind of wasted it. But now if it dies, we summon the 6/6 and then whatever lives out of the brawl. So we definitely have to kill you, Sarah. So I think killing it off like this is quite nice. It kills off 2 of our cards, but we replace them one with 6/6. We're generating another 6/6, and we're going to swing for 7, 2, and then another 3. So we swing for 12. This is nice. We're getting a huge lead on. We've got tons of creatures on the board. And I really don't see this warrior making any huge comeback right now, just because we have Draxus out. So I suppose a combo he could have Air Rag. That's pretty good. If it hits me for face, that's really bad, because then he can, like, bash and win. That'd be a pretty devastating loss. So it's going to kill one of the 6/6s that we generated. Not a big deal. So we do not want to get rid of our taunt. If we attacked with the 7, then we could Immortal Coil, but then he can Hell Scream and Whirlwind to win. And I really don't want to give him that option. So I think attacking in with one of our 6/6s and then using Dark Bomb to finish it off. Of course, using our passive to summon another 6/6, which is absolutely insane. Draxus is fucking retarded and broken. And then swinging for another 3 with his weapon. So we are pushing lethal next turn depending on what he plays. He hasn't used any executes yet, so he has to be holding on to something. I mean, there has to be something in this guy's hand. Alright, so a heal bot's going to allow him to live yet another turn. He's going to passive to gain 2 more armor. I see us attacking our Defender of Argus into his 3/3 and then Mortal Coiling to draw that extra card. We'll see what we can get. We don't want to use our weapon to attack because we're already low as fuck. Sledge Belcher is a nice draw. Throws another taunt up in his way. Swing for 3, swing for 7, swing for 6. We're now pushing lethal again this turn, so I don't see any real way for him to live unless he, like, brawls. The Sledge Belcher lives. And even then, we would still Hellfire a weapon, attack for 3, and that would still be 9 damage. So we'd have to passive and select Vulture One. So it looks like a 6/6 is going to live. We're going to get a 1/2 with Taunt. So he can't even weapon if that's what he chooses. He's going to Revenge, so it's going to kill that. And I see probably an Execute if he's had one. Ysera Awakens, that brings us down to 5, him down to 3, but that's pretty much it because he... Oh man, if he had a weapon in his hand, we would definitely most likely lose, but we don't because we have our weapon and then a Hellfire to wrap up this game. Wow, what a close game. 2 health we finished this at. If we wouldn't have Draxus when we did, we would have lost without it. Okay, so that's the second win with the Demon Handlock deck. I'm getting a little tired, guys, because I've been playing for a while now, trying to get these deck guides out. I've had a decent amount of time today to play. Like you've seen my rank, I believe I started at 8 today. Now we're at 5, and we've knocked out quite a few games. I meant to say quite a few decks. We've knocked out a ton of games to get to rank 5, but we've also done quite a few deck guides, which we'll be seeing soon.
Gul'dan versus
So it looks like we're going against Paladin, a really nice matchup, and I mean nice matchup for you guys to see, not for me to play, because it's most likely that Secret Paladin bullshit. Fuck that shit. We're gonna keep the Void Caller. Actually, yeah, we'll do it. It's a turn 4, just in case we don't get the Twilight Drake or the Giant. Also, having Draxus out really helps, because unless this Paladin has an equality, giving a Draxus taunt, there's no way for him to get around it. I mean, he can Aldor it, or he can equality, but besides that, he's going to have to push through that if we end up... It gets summoned and we're able to give it taunt, which we will definitely try to do. So another Void Caller, which is quite nice, allowing us to coin on turn 3 if need be, summon a Void Caller, and then summon another one on turn 4 if, again, we can't pick up the Mountain Giant or the Twilight Drake. So we'll see really quick what kind of Paladin deck we're playing. Alright, so him playing Shielded Mini-Bot's pretty devastating. It's a really good start for him. We're going to use our passive to draw 1. There's nothing really to play here. We've got the Molten Giant, which kind of helps when we get lower, but hopefully we don't play it anytime soon, because that means we're going to get really low health very quickly. So he's going to muster, so he's had the turn 2 card, the turn 3 card, which is not looking good for us. Some brilliant hands from this Paladin. It looks like he could be playing mid-range, which is surprising. So we'll coin into our Void Caller, put a body on the board. If it dies, it summons another Void Caller or Draxus. Either one is perfectly fine with me. We just now have to kind of dig into our deck and see if we can get the Defender of Argus or a Sun Fury just to give those guys taunts. Hellfire wouldn't be too bad now, depending on what he plays here. He definitely wants to silence this Void Caller if he has it. Alright, so he has Shredder. A nice 4-drop. So he's had a minion or a card to play every turn. Besides turn 1, but that's not that big of a deal. If he would have had his Zombie Chow on turn 1, I would say he had the most ridiculous hand ever. So we're going to play the Twilight Drake first and then attack with our Void Caller, just so we can have the max amount of cards in our hand, because if we would have played the attack with the Void Caller first and brought out another Void Caller Draxus, the Twilight Drake would have had 7 health instead of 8. So just be cautious when you're playing the cards to make sure Twilight Drake is getting his as buff as he possibly can. His card out of the Shredder really isn't that insane. Alright, so it looks like he might just be going face. I would probably go face if I was him with the weapon. Alright. So, God, he's running the Secret Paladin because there's the Secret Keeper. Oh boy, he's got a full field and we are already at 8 health. Okay, alright. Let's make plays. This is good. We have the Defender of Argus and the Draxus to come out, but we have no way to kill our Void Caller unless we want to like Dark Bomb our own Void Caller, which isn't exactly what we want to do here. Also, we kind of want to taunt up our Void Caller, but at the same time we don't, because if it gets silenced, it's not as big, and it also doesn't have as much health as we would want. So, yeah. So we're probably going to use our Twilight Drake to, we're actually going to draw off this, not draw off this Motherfucker, but kill the Shielded Mini-Bot to get rid of that Divine Shield, because if he like Blessings of the King, it's really devastating. So he's going to have to get through to my 5-7 and my 9-9. Let's say we would have Defender of Argus, our Void Caller. It's just an easier target for him to get through. Like right now, he would just have to deal 2 damage to it to get through right now. But if we use the Twilight Drake, he still has to go through 5. So he's probably going to swing into the... I don't know what he's going to swing into first. Oh, he's going to attack the 9-drop. Wow, he took 9 to the face. That's all unaccepting from me. He's going to use everything he can to try to get through it to me, but he can't. We have another Twilight Drake. We also have a Dark Bomb. And we also can bring out Jiraxis. So we'll play this Twilight Drake. I don't really see a better play here. We said, fuck my life. We're going to kill off this Berserker. We're going to summon Mal'Ganis now. I mean, Draxus, I'm sorry. We'll swing for 1, swing for 5. It doesn't look like that's a noble sacrifice. Probably either a competitive spirit. It's not the one that brings out its HP to 1. And yeah, I believe that's a game. I was really surprised at the turnaround here. The Molten Giant taunt with the Twilight Drake really set him down. His deck doesn't run equality, so there's no really way around huge taunt creatures unless he's running the Iron Beak, which he probably just didn't draw. There's the Cog Hammer, which is a new addition to the Secret Paladin deck. And my rendition I'm doing of the Secret Paladin is not going to run Cog Hammer. It's just because you have the True Silvers and the Musters, it's already enough weapons. So we're going to attack into this Spider. Going to pop out that Divine Shield. We're going to summon the... I think we should just clear his field right now. We only have 6 health, so I'm kind of scared, to be honest. So we could play Dr. Boom. That would be a huge tempo play for us, but I kind of just want a Dark Bomb. I want to kill... I'll attack a creature and then Dark Bomb. I don't want any creatures on his side of the field whatsoever. That could have been stupid, but we're still setting up lethal for next turn either way. So there was no way for us to get lethal this turn, but we can still set up lethal next turn with him having no cards on the field. It's just one of the things I've lost to Paladins due to some fucking retarded shit, especially Secret Paladin. Alright, so that's a Noble Sacrifice. One of those has to be Noble Sacrifice. So, I mean, it looks like he might live 1 extra turn. So we'll attack with Draxus. It is a Noble Sacrifice down there. So we'll attack directly with our 5 and our 4, and that's only because we're going to be able to taunt up the Watcher and Jiraxis. I'm not really scared about him getting through my defenses anymore. Before, all he needed was an Iron Beak, and he was good to go if he had Blessings of the King in his hand. But now, I really don't see a huge way for him to get through. And I guess we can still clear his field. We'll Dark Bomb. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. So it does look like that extra card is a competitive spirit there. And I kind of just attacked his creatures to kill him just to kind of give him a little BM of, hey, I don't even need to worry about it. I can still kill your creatures and kill you at the same time. Ugh, Secret Paladin. Most of the time, no, Secret Paladin wins. I'm going to be completely honest. Secret Paladin is just one of those decks that's insane. It's tier 1 for a reason now. So we will just attack directly with everything. It looks like we were able to pick up the win against this guy. Really nice. Those are 3 wins in a row. We haven't talked about the deck yet and the cards in it, so let's do that now before we wrap up. So, looking at the deck list on the right-hand side here, guys, I'll try to go over it as quick as possible while being the most informative as I can. I'm kind of tired now. No, well, I'm actually really tired, but we'll do our best. So, running 2 Mortal Coils and 2 Dark Bombs. The Dark Bombs are pretty much non-replacement. You have to have these in here. That's just too good not to. It's a 2-drop, deal 3 damage, but the Mortal Coil is actually something you can drop down by 1. Normally, you at least want 1 in the deck. 2 is just nice to have because I found a lot of aggro decks lately, so having 2 of these really isn't horrible, but if you just want to run 1 and maybe add like another Iron Beak or a Sun Fury, that's fine. We're running 2 Ancient Watchers. I believe we went over that and why we're running 2 Ancient Watchers. The other option is to run the 3-drop Ogre Fist Brute, but I prefer to have this guy for the turn 6 Shadow Flame and destroy everything with 4 HP or less. That's only because there's not a ton of 6-drops in this deck. There's a Soul Siphon and Dread Infernal, but for the most part, you want the Dread Infernal that you do have in the deck to come from a Void Caller. The Dread Infernal actually can be changed out with a Doom Guard if you prefer. A lot of people, I would say most people actually run the Doom Guard over the Dread Infernal, but I found that because of how many Secret Paladins there are and the amount of 1-drops they're able to summon, the Dread Infernal fucks them up pretty bad. So that's why I play that. Running 1 Iron Beak, like I said, this is replaceable. You can run 2 of these or 1. I would most likely at least run 1. This is not a card you kind of want to take out completely. The silence really is helpful. I said fucking god damn it. I shouldn't have to really say why silence is important, whether it be on your Sun Fury, whether it be on your Watcher or on someone else's card. It's a great 2-drop, very It's just very good. I can't really explain it any other way. We're only running one Sun Fury Protector because we do have 2 Sludge Belchers in the deck. We have Defender of Argus, and we obviously have 1 Sun Fury Protector. So that's a decent amount of taunt to put up. We're also running 2 Shadow Flames and a Hellfire. So there's a lot of field control in this deck where we don't really need as many taunts. Either cutting it down by the 1 Sun Fury it's not a huge change, but I found 2 kind of slows you down a little bit, and it's also, I don't know, you can run 2, you can run 1, it doesn't really matter. I find the way I like to play, 1 is enough. I definitely run 2 Defender of Arguses, but the Sun Fury is questionable. I'm running 1 Hellfire. A lot of people have actually cut 1 Shadow Flame, so they'll run 1 Shadow Flame, 2 Hellfire, and not just 2 Shadow Flame and 1 Hellfire. And that's because of all the aggro decks, the Grim Patrons. The Hellfire destroys the Grim Patrons. But also, I find if you go against another Demon Handlock, whoever has the second Shadow Flame is able to win. Because let's say they summon 2 or 3 giants. Let's say they summon 2 or 3 giants. I'll Shadow Flame my 1 giant or whatever I need to Shadow Flame to kill it. And then they'll Shadow Flame 1 time. And then let's say they rebuild their field with like a Mal'Ganis and another huge card. There's nothing in my deck to really deal with that second, running that a Demon Handlock have, because they have like their initial burst of giants, and then after that they have another giant burst, and maybe a third smaller giant burst. But for the most time they play 1 or 2 giants together if they're the molten giants, and you kind of clear those out with the 1 Shadow Flame. But if you don't have 2, it's really hard to kind of deal with it, especially since this deck isn't running a big game hunter. So just keep in mind, that's why you can actually cut a Shadow Flame, put in a big game hunter. It's up to you. I enjoy Shadow Flame, whether you're using it on a Watcher or one of your bigger creatures. It's just a complete field clear, and it's great. Running 2 Defender of Argus, I'm not really going to explain that. 2 Twilight Drakes, not really going to explain that. It's just a staple in the deck. There's no way around it. You've seen it. It's not that. There's nothing to explain about the card. You play it, and you get as much health as you have your cards in your hand. So just kind of be smart about it. Use your passive prior to playing it, or play it prior to using other cards in your hand. A Void Caller. It's the whole Demon Handlock. The Void Callers allow you to some versatility in not only having to play the Twilight Drake and or the Mountain Giant on turn 4. There's a little wiggle room in there for you to play this 3/4 card that has the potential to bring out whether a Doomguard, a Dread Infernal, a Mal'Ganis, a Draxus, which all can be taunted up, and then following that playing even more giant creatures like the Molten Giants. So it just allows for some bigger creature to be played early on. It also allows for a little bit of wiggle room. Like I said, you don't have to specifically draw either Twilight Drake or Giants anymore. You have a Void Caller there as well. Running 2 Antique Killbots, because this deck tinkers a lot, it like hangs on the edge of death and life so much because of its passive. You want your giants to come out, so it's very slow deck for the most part until turn 4. So you get down pretty low between, I would say, the 2 life and the 10 life constantly. So having the Antique Killbots to kind of bring you back to life along with the Lord Draxus is pretty necessary. The Sludge Belchers are just that 5-drop taunt up against the aggro decks, very effective in slowing them down. Running 1 Soul Siphon, this is kind of not your big game hunter, but it's your whatever, remove whatever you feel like. So let's say they play a Ysera or like a Rag. There's no real way to get rid of it besides trading in with one of your creatures. Most other decks, like a Shaman, has like a Hex. Priests have Shadow Ward Death. Mages have Sheep. This deck has Siphon Soul. So it's like kind of running 1 polymorph that heals you, but it is quite expensive. 6 mana to clear what you want is a bit of a stretch, but I think running 1 of them is good enough. The Dread Infernal we bent over, you kind of run that, or Doomguard, it's up to you. Dr. Boom is found in every single deck. On Demon Handlock, he works fine. He's the only 7-drop in here, so it's quite nice. We're also, if you notice, we're not running a Sylvanas. The Sylvanas Shadow Flame combo is still very viable, so let's say you don't have Dr. Boom, you can run Sylvanas, it's fine. The Lord Draxus and Mal'Ganis, this is again the Demon Handlock portion of the deck. Lord Draxus is, we've seen why it's great. We played it against the Warrior. It devastated him with summoning 6/6s every turn. It also brings you back 15 to life, but just be careful if you have the Molten Giants in your hand and you play Lord Draxus, your Molten Giants, you most likely will not be allowed to play them because Molten Giants say it's however much damage you've taken, and then the Lord Jaraxxus kind of resets that number. So just make sure you're not hanging on to Molten Giants prior to playing Lord Jaraxxus. The Mal'Ganis gives all your demons +2, so this includes your Void Caller and your Doom Guard or Dread Infernal. If those are out, same with the Lord Jaraxxus. And then we're finishing up with the Molten Giant and Mountain Giant. These guys are pretty much, again, staples. These guys have been in here since Handlock has first begun. This deck has been around for a long time, and that's why it is so powerful. And it's pretty expensive, you ask me. I mean, there's epics, there's legendaries, there's actually a lot of epics, a lot of legendaries, and a lot of rares. So, I mean, this is one of the more expensive decks that I've gone over, but at the same time, I can't really leave out, like, with the more expensive decks and only cover the cheaper decks, because that, for the players who do have the ability to buy packs and to craft these more expensive decks, they're kind of suffering on the channel because I haven't gone over a ton of expensive decks. But for those of you who can't afford it, here it is. For those of you who can't, it's something to look forward to. It's something to kind of, hey, I've got this many cards out of it. I'll tinker it a little. So let's say you don't have, Mal'Ganis or Lord Jaraxxus. Try just playing the standard Handlock. So from there, that's what I have to say about that. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. This video and all of these videos, for a matter of fact, are for you guys. So if you have anything to say whatsoever, that's what I'm here for, is to communicate to you guys and try to, have you guys go up the ranks and do the best that you can do. So, as always, guys, thanks for stopping by the inn. I'm Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.